Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Marches Exercise Your Rights. And today I have the okay, she's not a pheasant, the effervescent Lydia Prime, who is a New Jersey born creature of the night. Her short story, Sadie, was published in Kandisha Press's Under Her Wings 2020 Women in Horror Anthology. She won the 23rd Critters Annual Readers Poll for Best Horror Short Story in 2020. And when Lydia isn't unleashing her nightmares on readers, and we do mean that as a good thing, she happily helps others polish their brain children and possibly their brains themselves with her editing services. Her co-editor, she is a co-editor at Kandisha Press, a current editor for Silent House Press, and a former co-owner of Sirens Call Publications, which we've had on here before as well. We love Sirens Call.
Oh,
And
God, I love him.
is ready for anything. So bring it. So welcome, Lydia. But after all of that, my calling you a pheasant, which I really apologize for. I hope that's offensive.
I mean,
Oh,
pheasants are
hello.
cute, right?
Yeah. AF Stewart is in the stream. Hello, Stewart. And you know what? You know how I said about like I make errors and it's ridiculous? This is supposed to be Mark's show, and I accidentally hit live. So we are live right now. So I was like, who the hell is talking to us in here? Okay. So,
Well,
anyways, hi Anita, and you're live. So, anyways, how have you been? I haven't talked to you in a little while. Where you been? What you been doing? What are you doing now?
I mean, honestly, like after COVID, I just kind of like fell off a little bit. I started doing a lot of day job stuff, and it's a lot of mental energy. I do collections. It's not, it's not glamorous. So
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like by the end of the day, I just can't stare at a screen. So that's honestly what it is. I just disappeared for that.
Yeah.
So
Well, COVID, yeah, that kind of. I had my own COVID July last year. I think it was pretty bad, and it was just really hard to come back from.
yeah,
Yeah.
I've had it a couple of times now. It's really not a fun. I wouldn't wish somebody to have that kind of time.
Yeah.
Not a pleasant experience. Wouldn't
Yeah.
recommend.
Yeah. Yeah. So everybody, Lydia's first advice is don't get COVID. I mean,
Don't
that's
do
pretty.
it. Don't do it, kids. Stay in
Yeah.
school too.
Yeah, and stay in school. Yeah, as long as you want, as long as your teachers are being supportive.
And they're virtual. Yes, virtual
Yeah,
school.
virtual
Preferred.
school is good. Well, what are you doing now? You're with Kandisha Press and Silent House Press. How does that work? Like, how do you balance both of those with everything you're doing?
Honestly, well, Kandisha Press kind of adapted me. So, it was mostly just chill on her own for a while. And then she kind of asked me if I would help out a little bit here and there, editing, doing stuff like that. Um, Silent House actually was just kind of a place for some fever dream anthologies to land. They had a weird like jumping off point. So it was like like what would you call it? Like 911 bar rescue kind of anthology savior situation.
Yeah.
It's not even like a super functional thing, but comes up when it needs to. That's
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Well, and that's the thing. You probably never have a shortage of writers, because there cannot be enough markets. I mean, we always need more markets because we can outright all the markets. It seems like.
Dude, genres are bending. People are coming up with things that, man, I just watched a movie on, I think Netflix the other day, and the premise was like these like aliens, that were like light creatures. And I'd never thought of it before, like that they could be needing that kind of energy. It's just like so cool. And that's like so interesting. There's so much new stuff.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
never
that's
ending.
cool. Well, tell me a little bit I want to hear about each of these presses and what you guys are looking for. Like, what is Kandisha Press looking for? And am I even saying that right? Because I've always just seen the word, seen the name. I might be saying that wrong.
Yeah, I mean, the the only way I know how to pronounce it is Kandisha. Because Aisha Kandisha is a succubus in, I believe, Malaysia or some kind of Eastern Asian area. Apologies if I'm saying something ridiculous, but I'm pretty. And that's where that comes from. She is, a badass in her own right.
Yeah.
Um, and that being said, Kandisha kind of looks for like just badass women in horror to promote, to like give them really a platform like to stand on. There's been a lot more visibility for women horror authors and the like, in the last few years alone. But when Kandisha started, even just like I believe it was 2019, it started because Jill really wasn't seeing too many female author names in anthologies. She was like, let's get some more representation out there.
That's awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I feel like that has really changed the scene a lot. Like when I first started writing horror, it was very like I knew Anita, which is funny that she's in the audience right now. Anita was one of the only names I think I knew that was also female, and there was this whole uh, what does it mean to be a female? Like, what is our role? Are we all supposed to look like Elvira? Do we have to be sexy? Can we just be old crotchety writers like the guys? Like, is that okay?
Yes.
All these questions.
I would
Yeah,
love to be.
yeah. Now it's like, yeah, everybody's just doing what they want. The scene has definitely changed, and it's like the credit goes to presses like Kandisha and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, when I first started coming into like the community, it was, geez, I think like 2016 or 17, working at
Mm-hmm.
a comedy club. And I met Nina, who's the owner of Sirens Call. And she kind of like brought me in, took me under her wing, and was, running like the Ladies of Horror picture prompt, project. And that
Which is
very
still
much,
going.
yes, yes. It's very much like a huge, huge success for like getting new people out there, networking, learning, just learning other names of other female authors and kind of like.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like I've kind of just always been trying to help the women's. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's awesome. Well, tell me a little bit about, is Kandisha going to have any open calls soon, or like what's coming up for them
So
or for you
Kandisha
guys?
took a little bit of a break to also kind of like have a breather. There's about I think 4 volumes of anthologies out that are full of excellent women authors or people who identify as women. What's coming up is we have a collection coming out called We're Not Ourselves Today. It's me and Jill. There are a couple of reprints in there. I'm not going to pretend like there's not, but there are 2 brand new stories in there, one from each of us.
Oh,
There,
awesome.
that should be out, I believe, mid-March, but it's already available. Like ARCs are going out, I think.
Oh, awesome.
So, I believe there are plans for 1 or 2 open call anthologies. I don't know the details or specifics of when. I think usually it's kind of more towards like end of summer kind of stuff. But it's a little bit slow going because we're just kind of coming back crawling.
Yeah. Well, and that's okay. I mean, it's art. It is an art. Even, publishing is an art as much as writing. So it's important for all sides to not just force it out, because then you wind up with soulless, angry work. We have to have souls in our angry work.
Yes. How else? I mean, we got to be able to suck other people's souls out through our anger.
Yeah, exactly. The
You know?
point of horror, which, to any of you non-horror people that might be listening to that, no, not at all. We're so nice. We have cookies. Come over.
Yes, please come to the dark side, man. We're
Yes.
fantastic over here.
Yeah, play with us. Yeah, and I will say, like, just on the praise of the horror community in general, we were talking about that a little bit pre-show. Yeah, there is no better community, I think. Having been myself in a lot of different writer communities, we're just so laid back and fun. It seems
Oh
like,
yeah.
and loving, absolutely loving.
There's just it's such a for all the like crappy stuff that you'll hear like here and there in
Mhm.
terms of maybe like the scandals and the who's sexting who stuff you know
Someone is
there's
sexting somebody.
yeah
My
but
God.
there's no better place. Like there's
Mm,
no better community of like diverse people
yeah,
that are so welcoming and so like, all right, so what are we doing? What's our next project? How do we do this? You
yeah,
know,
yeah,
randos.
exactly. Yeah, and I'm going to say, like, to the diversity thing, like, I just did an interview yesterday, and it was talking about the first Asian president of HWA, which is Horror Writers Association, for anybody who doesn't know. And that was way back. I mean, I'd have to look it up, but it was a while ago
Yeah.
somehow. And somebody was like, "Oh, when did that just happen?" I'm like, "No, that happened like, I think he was like the third or fourth president." So
Hmm.
we've always had that diversity in horror, I think, because and my thought is it's because like we know what it's like to be the outcast. We know Frankenstein and, Dracula, hot, but still nobody liked him. So,
I mean, you know what? I kind of did. I was super down with that Gary Oldman vibe.
oh yeah. Well, I had the hots for Darth Vader. I've always been like I like the bad guys, but only if they are disfigured somehow, maybe, or you can't see them. Like it's a thing with me.
You know, it's fine. That's fine. Everybody,
Yeah.
everybody needs the beast, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my husband questions, well, why did you get with me then? But, we won't discuss these things.
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, sir.
Yeah,
Just quiet.
exactly. Well, how about Silent House? I think I keep wanting to say Silent Hill, but Silent House.
I think actually even like we're listed somewhere as Silent Hill somewhere. I
Oh,
think
funny.
it's really weird. But that, like I said, it's kind of it was like a landing place for two anthologies that, we weren't really sure what we were doing. If anything, it would probably just be more of like a co-ed Kandisha to
Mm-hmm.
let guys kind of come and play with us, because
Mm-hmm.
we're just great and they can just come sprinkle in here and there.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
So, but I don't know. I think there is another plan for another anthology through there. Again, I
Mm-hmm.
don't know super big details on it just because I've
Oh,
been,
yeah.
out of the loop a little bit. Uh, would probably be something for like a year from now, I would think,
Yeah.
not like super soon.
That's okay. I have your email. I know how to harass you and find out all the details.
Yes, yes, come get me. I will give you all the information.
Yeah. Now, I think it's really exciting. I think a lot of us kind of took a break during the whole COVID kind of thing. I know I did. I don't know about you, but I wound up moving to Brazil. And so
Are you still there?
yeah, yeah, that's why I am sweating right now. And you look like you might be chillier because it is
Yeah.
like really hot today.
Oh
Uh,
God.
but yeah, so like all of last year, I just kind of took a break. Like I just can't handle like I need to maintain. That's about it. Like that's what I can do right now. But I think a lot of us are kind of like, okay, we're over that hump. It's time to get back into it. We've had our all the dramas.
Great times.
We've
Yeah.
recovered from the dramas that were the last couple of years. So yeah, I think it's and horror's in a resurgence right now, like a huge resurgence. So just in time.
Oh yeah. I mean, maybe people are just they're stuck with that adrenaline from all the terrors of the world that we just went through. They're like, let's keep going, keep feeding the monster, which
Yeah.
I'll happily feed them.
Yeah.
Enjoy.
Well, and I'm going to ask you, like in my own writing, I feel like I've not drifted away from horror, but I've gotten less horrible. We'll say, like I actually have a couple happy endings in some of my latest work,
Do
and
you?
I've questioned myself, like what the heck, and I think it's because there has been so much real life horror that it's like why I don't want to necessarily add to it. So I've been processing it. Maybe that's now my new fantasy is, oh yeah, it's horrible, but we can have a happy ending. Do you find that any of that has kind of affected your writing anyhow, or are you still kind of
I,
like,
I think my characters still have bad endings, honestly.
mm-hmm,
Because a lot of my writing tends to be reflective of like something I'm going through mentally
mm-hmm,
or just like trying to get through. And just a lot of times, the bad guys sometimes they win and it
mm-hmm,
sucks, but there's nothing you can do about it. So that's kind of where I am. But I
yeah,
do find myself kind of wanting to put my characters more in medical issued situations,
mm-hmm,
um, more so than I ever did before.
interesting. Interesting. Do you think that's like a reflection of the don't want to say the environment, but like all the stuff that's going on kind of affecting that? Or
Yeah, I definitely, like eh, even if we're just talking about like conspiracy theory, like tinfoil hat stuff,
okay, I'm leaning in. Yes, tell me all.
I'm all about it. I love that stuff. So like the not trusting the government, not trusting like, yourself, know what you're seeing, like that stuff is very scary to me.
Mhm.
And, people being
But
afraid of the vaccines and stuff, like
who
it,
wouldn't trust the government though? I mean,
they're so honest. They are
I
just
know they
Casey
only have
Anthony
our
would love
best interests at heart.
it. You're in Brazil. I think you're safe. They're coming.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Oh. Well, tell me a little bit about. A.F. Stewart says she had two happy endings in her latest collection, but they also involve murder and kidnapping. Yeah, and I guess I should specify, like, people still died, but it made me happy. That's a happy ending, right?
Oh my gosh, Anita.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about Sirens Call. I am a huge fan of Sirens Call. I'm a huge fan of the Ladies in Horror Project, which I'm a part of. Kandisha Press as well. I had one story in Don't Break the Oath with you guys, which was
Yeah.
awesome. You guys are amazing. But let's go to Sirens Call. Do you know how that even started? Like right now, it's like this huge monstrosity of goodness for writers.
Yeah, I mean, the goal I believe always was to be like a place to, just get writing out
Mm-hmm,
there, get like, some people will even credit like Sirens with being like their
mm-hmm.
break, first
Yeah.
full-time public film. I honestly I definitely know, but I cannot remember. I do believe that originally it was kind of like a similar to Kandisha thing I said before, like the
Mm-hmm,
wanting to lift up women authors, but then I know that it's been co-ed the whole time, I think.
mm-hmm.
So I think it was Julie, Snow, and Nina, their brainchild, and then there's Mealy and Gloria who kind of tacked on a little bit later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's pretty close to what Nina would say. I'm not sure. I don't
All
want to. I
right.
don't want the wrong answer.
Have to get her on here. We had her on, I think, like a year ago. I want
Oh
to
yeah.
say, yeah, on back when this show used to be Cake and Hyperbole, and I had a co-host, Amy Zollers. I don't know why I have to think about that so much. I blame the heat. But yeah, that's funny. Like, yeah, I think it's time to have her back.
Yeah, for sure. Love Nina. I love Nina.
Yeah.
I haven't seen her in wow. Just at I think right after COVID started.
Oh
Like a
yeah.
just hermited down. Was not being around
Yeah.
any humans.
That happened to so many of us. I think, like StokerCon, the one before last, which I don't remember what year that was anymore. That was the coming out of like we had been hermited up for like over a year, I think, and then we finally came out to StokerCon, which is kind of like, whoa, like what a
Oh,
way to break the ice. Oh, say Pete Kelly says Sirens Call was so helpful.
oh yeah. I learned so much just, you
Yeah,
know, like I wouldn't be here without having met Nina just serendipitously, like while
yeah.
working. I was working security in the back of the room, and the comedian on stage happened to say to her, "What do you do for a living?" And that was it. That was how we met.
Oh, that's awesome. That is
Yeah.
so awesome. Yeah,
So
that is I will say, like, in Authortunities, like I try to only do like the paying gigs, you know what I mean, because that's like the point of it,
yeah,
except for Sirens Call, because it's worth the exposure that you get. We always make the jokes
and
about, oh,
community.
I'll work for exposure, but you really do get it with Sirens Call. And yeah, the community is amazing. You start meeting the family, so it's
And you're
fantastic.
welcome back. You're welcome back with open arms every
Hmm.
time. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's a
yeah,
very, very, very welcoming place. Can
yeah.
say
Well, enough for all those presses. Let's talk about you.
that. Oh man, what about me?
what have you got coming out? What are you kind of thinking you're gonna? Because you did take a break, so now we have you back amongst the Halloween people.
Oh,
Where do you think you're aiming at? Like, what can we expect from you soon? I mean, not that
I
we're gonna hold you to this, but
um I honestly wanted to try to work on like a novella or like a novel of some kind because I
Mhm.
pretty much only ever stuck to short fiction. Flash, like really, if you look up like my entire history on the internet, that's it. It's just Flash and short
Yeah.
fiction. Um, so I wanted to give that a shot. I mean, I have this story coming out, and we're not ourselves today. Um, and that like that's an interesting story. It started out being like a really trippy, like psychedelic situation, and then it became something completely different. It does involve werewolves. It's called Lunation. Um, the term lycanthropically challenged is used in the story, and it's just meant to like explain struggle transforming into the wolf form.
What is it? What challenged?
Lycanthropically challenged.
Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
So, and then there's like an AA place kind of for that kind of thing. It's a weird story, but it's I think it's worth the read. Maybe I'm biased, but
Hmm. No, I think it sounds fabulous.
oh,
Um,
thank you.
and I think it's okay to do Flash and stuff because I think so many of us do read that now. Like I read a lot more Flash than I used to just because it's like that's what I have time for. But
Yeah.
I am very much excited to see a longer work from you. That'll be fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe I should write about Super Slug. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Speaking of Super Slug, I don't even remember how Super Slug started. I know it was on Facebook. What even started that? like, so Super Slug, for all of you guys who doesn't know what Super Slug is, which is like everybody, I think, except for me and Lydia right now. It was just a thing that we started saying back and forth, and like I think we're gonna write stories about him or something.
Oh yeah, it was I can't remember what the comments were for, but they were going, and he had a salt packet girlfriend. We had some serious drama going on for this poor little slug, man. But he was super.
He like overcame all the setbacks and obstacles of his life in the comments there.
I would love to like animate him. I feel like he would just be so great. Although
Yeah.
that like penultimate moment where when he finally gets to his salt packet love, I wonder how sizzling that would really be.
Oh, that's right. He did. He was in love with the salt packet. The great forbidden love in all the worst and most horrific graphic ways.
That's what you get for leaving silliness up to horror authors.
Yeah, yeah. Don't turn us loose in some comments. Apparently.
Salt packets and slugs be damned.
Yeah. Ah, that's
Oh,
awesome. Yeah, I haven't thought about him in a while, so it's really good to have you back, Lydia, because
oh,
nobody else will super slug with me.
oh no! We have to do that more. We have to do it more.
Yeah, I
It's
think so.
fantastic.
Well, I want to know because you're quite experienced in this. You edit professionally, as well as being in presses and everything. You've been just around in the industry for a little while. What would you tell new writers and our viewers how to exercise their rights? Like, what are your top tips for getting your work published or just for writing in general? It's a lonely
Submit.
it's a lonely job. So,
I would definitely say submit because
mhm,
you like most people that I hear from that like are discouraged from writing are people who aren't submitting anything. So they're not
mhm,
getting like feedback, they're not anything like that. If you're afraid to submit, you're not gonna get anywhere at all. But if you try, then
yeah,
at least there's a chance that somebody will be like, hey, you know what? I see something here. Let me try to help you. Let me carve you out, you know.
mhm,
Um,
carve you up.
and to not be ooh, ah, watch out with those horror editors. Man. But
I'm gonna polish your piece a little bit.
oh my God, I'm sure so many people that I've edited for would say that though.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh, um, the only other thing that I would say really is like, this sounds terrible, but don't be an asshole. You know, like in the sense of like, if somebody is saying to you, this doesn't make sense, somebody's telling you this word is the wrong word, don't fight with them. You know,
Hmm.
like to a degree, you know, learn from
Hmm.
what they're saying. Don't just immediately shut it down.
Yeah, I think that's huge advice. Oh, well, got a comment. Pete Kelly says he loves your voice.
Oh, thank you. At
Yeah, she
least.
does it. She saves that nice husky voice, and I'm not going to get too weird about it, but yeah, she saved that just for us.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Wow, Lydia talking about super slack now.
I had a client one time tell me that I needed a job where I talked on the phone. And I was
Hmm.
like, sir, we are on the phone. What are you implying?
That's true. How much more talking do you want me to do?
It was
Feeling uncomfortable.
it
Yeah, but anyways,
was
let's go
very
back to your writer advice. I can veer off into the inappropriate areas at times.
I definitely can too.
Yeah, I do think the asshole advice is good. I think was it, I can't remember who it was, but somebody that has a big name. I think that's his advice. Like somebody said, "What's your advice to your new writers?" And his comment was, uh, "Don't be an asshole." Like number one, don't be an asshole. Number two, don't be an asshole. And he just recited that like 10 times.
You know what? I mean,
So
that's perfect though because it covers. Oh, thank you. I just saw that pop up. Thank you. Um,
so
it,
if you want to keep listening to this recording, pay $9.99.
oh man, sometimes I feel like Miss Cleo though. Like, let's just break out the tarot cards while we're out here.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's mine are right there.
Oh, mine are actually in my bedroom, but you know what? They're a deck based off of Lovecraft.
Oh,
Some of the
awesome.
creatures are all like just Cthulhu-y, like
Yeah.
creepy. It's great. It's fantastic.
Oh, that's awesome. That is awesome. All right,
Yeah.
that's a future show where we just talk about tarot stuff
Oh, that'd be fun.
and how it can go into your writing because actually you can use tarot cards and stuff like that to go into your writing for inspiration stuff because it is a story. You're
I did
telling a story
actually.
with the cards.
There's a story that I wrote like forever ago called Madame Serona, I think, and it's like a fortune teller that's being visited, I think, by death,
Oh,
and
nice.
they're unknowingly like drawing their own cards.
Yeah. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, speaking of stories, where can we find you? Like, where do you have some of your work up that we can grab right now?
Um,
Where can we find you on socials, your website? Like, how do we reach Lydia Prime?
you can definitely find me on Instagram and Facebook, all those good things. Just look for Lydia Prime, pretty much. Actually, I think Instagram is like a weird fear of like being eaten alive by worms or something. It's like helminthophobia. I'm never gonna be able to spell it, but I will find a way to make it easier. It was before I got like marketing knowledge.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah. Which right there, there's so much in that marketing.
it's
Biggest fear
fascinating.
of most people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, that's why I just don't exist on social media because I just don't have it in me to like write
Hmm.
the post and the hashtags and the this and the that and the
It's a lot of work.
I just read my stuff and I'm over here. I'll be here. Don't worry.
Come find me.
Yeah, I'm here. Just come hang out. Don't
That's
bring
awesome.
cigarettes though, because
Yeah.
I oh man.
Uh, well, I'm going to. The show is a little sideways because this show is supposed to be pre recorded to play on March 1st, but here we are. It is now March 1st. Um, so when I actually do post this show, like, welcome everybody who watched. I think it's awesome that we have you here. Surprise!
Thank you for hanging out.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you for being here, even on the non-scheduled time. This show will be replaying for March, but I will have all the links that we just talked about in the description. So and I'm not even going to cut this part out of it, so that all the live people that you saw up here, they showed up, everybody. And so all of you people that were like, rescheduled, I'm going to stop there. I'm going to like alienate everybody. I'm just trying to cover up for my own errors.
I mean, it's all good though. It's all good.
I was so surprised to see Anita's name pop up. I'm like, who's talking to us?
I honestly thought she was just like part of it. I was like, oh, maybe she was like Angela's partner. It's all good.
That's just me being goofy. It's too hot. I blame the heat. It's like almost 99 degrees here Fahrenheit. So I'm dying. And we have air conditioners because, we're U.S. people coming over. But typically people don't have air conditioners or screens. So,
really?
Yeah. And you take a lot of showers, so many showers.
I can understand that.
Yeah, it's so hot.
Wait, are you where I'm going to sound like such a dork. Are you where the toilets flush the other way?
I have not looked yet, but when I was in Australia, I heard that. And I lived there for like a year and a half, and I never could remember to check. So, and you know why? It's because the toilets didn't have water in them in Australia. That's why. Because, I mean, very little tiny bit of water, because water is so precious. So they think in the U.S. our toilets are like way over the top because we have like a little bathtub. It's like a bird bath of water.
Yeah,
here,
for sure.
It is also there's just not a lot of water in there. So, but I'm going to have to try it with like a bucket or something. But yeah, so I'm going to have to look that up. Like, is it clockwise in the North Hemisphere and counterclockwise in Southern, right?
I think it's clockwise where I am in New Jersey. So
Pete says it's been accidentally cool to have this show. And he wants me to stop flaunting that I'm so hot. It's like, yeah. Sorry, all you people that are just freezing down. I have bananas growing out in the front of my house.
I'll send an ice cream truck.
Yeah, I would take it desperately. But
Mr. Frosty?
Anyways, huh?
Mr. Softy, though?
Oh.
Do you know the story?
No, I don't. But the way you're waggling your eyebrows, I'm like.
Well, because so I keep touching my nose like such a weirdo. But okay, last day.
Mr. Softy?
Well, no, because so I grew up in Dumont, New Jersey, and it had a man called the Iceman who lived there, and he was a murderer, and one of his crimes, he kept a body in a Mr. Softy ice thingy majiggy because Mr. Softy was a creeper too.
Why does that almost sound familiar? Because I used to live in Browns Mills, New Jersey, and we had the whole.
I mean, he was he was in Bergen County's lockup. Michael Shannon, I think, did a movie where he played him.
Interesting.
And I think one of the Franco brothers is in it too. James Franco is in it, I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look that up because that area was so freaky.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, nobody would go. Like my boss at the newspaper, 28-year-old guy would not go outside after dark because it was so creepy. And they found a dismembered body in the Wawa, like a mile away from us. So now I'm like, I wonder if that was Mr. Softy.
Wawa.
I know, yeah. For everybody who doesn't know what a Wawa is, I think they're not just in New Jersey, right? Isn't that just like an East Coast thing?
I think they are East Coast, but I know that they're like South, like South Jersey has more of them than like we do up here.
Yeah. I passed through New Jersey a couple years ago, and I was like, I gotta go to a Wawa just to, First time I went to New Jersey, I was like, Wawa, what kind of name is that?
My dude, there's so many ridiculous things. Like there's DeWet water.
DeWet,
like DE.
Oh, DeWet water. Yeah. DeWet water.
I think it's a water purification place.
Oh, funny.
But okay. Water is wet. Sounds good.
When my husband came to the U.S., we had Cox cable, like the KCOX, and he was just, it took him a while to get over that one.
I love it.
But anyways, we're out of time, and we're just sitting here like digressing now, which I love because I love chatting with you.
Oh.
Yeah, so look for those links, and this has been like the most weird show because I'm like, what? We're live? What? Anyways, find those links in the description when the show appears on March 1st, which is when we do exercise your rights, typically, unless somebody accidentally hits go live, which could happen. Surprise.
Super slug. Don't even worry about it.
On that show, we will have, obviously I don't have the video right now, but we are doing video readings. So everybody's submitting their video readings, and whoever I select, which is actually Linoff, my assistant, is selecting, will be ending this. So I hope you enjoy that.
Awesome.
Everybody who's watching in the future. But yeah, thank you so much for being here, Lydia. You're awesome. I'm so glad to have you back active in the community again. We have not had enough Lydia Prime in the last couple of years.
Well, I am here. I'm always happy to come hang out, and thank you so much for having me. Honestly.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. All right. Well, don't be a stranger. We're gonna have you again, and keep us posted on all those calls that are coming up. And everybody else, watch Authortunities, because that's where I will be sharing it when I find out. All right. Bye, everybody. And yeah, happy future, I'm going to say, because yeah, we're in the future right now.
Timey-wimey, wibbly-wobbly.
Yes. No. Quick, tell us who won. Wait, quick, tell us who got the Stoker finalist on February 23rd.
If only.
Well, yeah. All the right people. Let's say that. All right. With that bit of nonsense, I will see you guys all. I guess now that this is March, April. We'll see you in April.
April Fools.
That's right. Oh, see, this would have been a perfect show for that. All right. I will see you later. Thank you so much for being here, Lydia.
Thank you. Bye, Ange.
Bye.